Okay, the next thing I did was I took care of the nose. To show you what I did here, I extended put a little V cut right at the top of the nose that didn't look like such a circular thing, and cleaned it up on both sides a little bit, and so that's what it looks like. So I'm going to leave it at that, and the same thing with the eyes. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. The next thing I also did was I trimmed it down a little bit here for the head. You know, you can tell that there's a head here, and just a matter of scooping this out a little ways and just kind of blending that in and right behind the ear there. We're not going to do a whole lot more in between and underneath the ears. The face is pretty well done, along with the legs. This is the fluffy part before the legs. They don't have any of this wool or this hair texture on it. We're gonna do the hoofs now. So all we're gonna do is a little V cut like so. Okay, on both sides. One there and one on this side. Just like that. A little bit more maybe. It definitely has little hoofs there, so. Alright. I'm going to trim this. Let me get rid of this magnifying glass that I had on. Alright. So that's pretty well there. Alright. That's all I'm going to do there. And then the same thing here. We're going to kind of put a V cut in. A little bit at a time. Just like so. As far back as we can go here. Alright. And we're going to trim this off a little bit. Get rid of that roughness. Round off this top a little bit. And that's it right there. You can take this down pretty far if you want. There you go. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to just do a little V cut. Now be very careful when you do this, because you can really nick things out of there if you're not careful. Alright, and we're going to take this down just a little ways. Alright, just like so. So there's our little V cut there. And round off the bottom a little bit. Just get rid of those hard edges. Alright, same thing over here. We're just going to get a little more oval shape. The other thing I also did was bring it back, just like the hoof. So straight across, I took it inward. Alright. And now we're ready to texture him. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a... I'm going to show you these here. Oh, one thing I want to mention real quick if I can. You see the blue tape? This is what I use for the thumb guards now. It's just a wrapping tape that they use in the medical field. I told you about these wraps before, and one of my students, Barry, he was here for a class the last time, and he had this wrapped around. And I said, why do you have that wrapped around? He said, it won't slip and slide, because when it's summertime and there's a finish on this stuff, it has a tendency of sliding. So wrap it a couple of times. It's a self-adhesive stuff. I get this stuff at let me think here, at Tractor Supply in the veterinarian section, where they wrap the horses with this tape for injuries and stuff. So that's where I found this stuff. So that's where you can get it. It's not expensive. It's like, well, it's $8 a bag if you buy the big roll. But if you buy the small roll, it comes in about 4 inches in diameter, 4 inches wide. And then what I do is I cut it up on a bandsaw to 1 inch, and this is what we have. So it keeps it from sliding around, which is really super nice. So I did both, and you can take it off. It won't hurt any. There won't be any residue on there. But here's another set of little gouges that I have. This is the ducks. I think these are dockyard ones. I have some that are rounded and some that are V. So we're going to use the rounded one. We're going to use probably the larger one and the second larger one. And let's see, I think I have another one here that we can pull out. We'll take those out, and what we're going to do is we're going to give this a texture similar to what we did with the caricature that I did before. So this won't be done here, so what we want to do is just kind of line it a little bit so you know. Alright. And also, I forgot to tell you, when you do these ears, you put them in a little bit. What I did was I cut it, and I cut it this way so the ear comes up a little bit to a point. But this is not distinctive because that's attached to the head, of course. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, I'm going to spray it a little bit just to give it a little nice, easier way of doing this. And we're going to take the larger one and we're just going to start scooping. Just so. Just so. In all different directions, you know. Just little scoops, just like that. Okay? And go down and go up. But be really mindful of where you're at, you know, which way the grain runs. And then you just kind of match things together a little bit, just like so. Doing kind of randomly in different directions. Now I'm not doing the ear, remember. But I'm going to be doing the whole body. So this is going to be kind of fun. Okay, see how I have it textured? And then you go back over it again in spots. You can go in different directions, it doesn't matter. As long as there's short little strokes like what I'm doing now, see? And I'm going to do the whole body. I'm going to do this, the body. I'm not going to do the legs or the hoofs, but everything else gets done. So this is going to take a while to do. And what you want to do is just kind of scoop it out if you can. Try to get a nice clean cut on it. And when we come back, the whole body should be done. And you want to kind of go around here and just little crisscrosses here. And just keep going over it a little bit here and there. Give it that texture of that hair you want. And I think this is the one I'm going to stick with. And see, I can go back over little pieces. I try to do anything that looks flat. Okay. Here I'm going to have to go in here a little bit better. Okay, so it's nice and clean in here. Okay. And then go back over it a little bit. But you want to try to get the even it out. Alright, we'll be back and the whole body's going to be done. Remember, everything's going to be done except for the ears, the face, the legs, and the hoofs. And I'll come back in a little bit and to show you what that looks like before I paint it. Okay? I'll be back.